So the economy was set to be in dire crisis and faced some serious threats, within that time. That's within the period of 2014, where the country decided to opt out for the IMF bailout program. Now, my colleague Philip Namfuri, researcher, is here with me to tell us more about this particular revelation and why you think it was quite there at that time. Philip, what exactly do you think about this?
Okay, Emmanuel, thank you very much. So in his 4-page article, that's the IMF resident representative to Ghana, that's Dr. Tunamama. He chronicles very interesting facts. But before we delve into those facts, I beg your pardon, let's look at Ghana's relationship with the IMF. Let's look at the number of programs we've had. We prepared 2 infographics for you. Let's look at that and have the conversation rolling.
All right, sure. Okay, so that was a chronicle of various programs that the country entered into, in the past with the IMF. Now, Philip, why so many programs in the first place?
Okay, so I'll pin it down to 2 main reasons. The challenges within the economy and then the challenges externally. So we've had a mix of both since 1960, as you've seen, right down to the most recent Extended Credit Facility program. And what we put together was just showing you the different programs we've had, when we started the programs, the dates we completed those programs, and how much the IMF has given to us. How much the IMF gives us is what they call their special drawing rights, SDR. It's a basket of currencies they use to measure. But if you convert it, you can have it in dollar terms. From Dr. Tunamama's article, right now, Ghana owes the IMF about $1.something billion.
Before even we come to Doctor's article, if you make a comparison with, let's say, Nigeria, how do you place us?
Okay, so Ghana has had 16 programs since we became part of the IMF in 1957, 20th March. Nigeria became part of the IMF in 1981, but they've had only 4 programs. Why? Because of the oil they have. Their economy is heavily hinged on the oil industry. Ghana, our commodities don't do too well, the cocoa, the gold. Oil is a big business, as you well know, so that's why there will be some differences in how we access fund programs comparing Ghana and Nigeria. But Doctor's article has chronicled a lot of things, and we've put another infographic together, just the salient points. Let's look at that and then we'll have a discussion.
Sure. those were some excerpts of the country representative of the IMF, Dr. Tuna's latest article. Now, for me, $400 million as of 2014, as the country's foreign exchange reserves was quite woefully inadequate.
Was quite low, and you see, we shouldn't mix it with gross international reserves, which looks at foreign exchange reserves, gold reserves, and the IMF's own reserve account. Okay. This one is just looking at foreign exchange. So at that time, this was what the Bank of Ghana had in terms of foreign currency receipts. And 400 million for a country that imports a lot, one would argue that is a bit small. The other part that interests us is the printing of money by the Bank of Ghana. The first half of the year, the deficit was financed to about a tune of 4 billion. If you do 22% of 2013's revenue, that's what the Bank of Ghana's act says. You look at the deficit and you take the previous year's revenue, about 22%. That translates to about 4 billion Ghana cedis. So a lot of it. And you know now we have the zero Bank of Ghana financing on the government deficit. So we should hold these things in place. There are some good parts of this program, as you can see from the infograph. But all in all, we must ensure that we hold this steady. So
did the Bank of Ghana at the time give us these details in their reports and at the MPC level?
Okay, so yes and no. Yes, with the extent that if you look at when they are reporting, they will normally put gross international reserves in total. We haven't had an extraction of just foreign exchange reserves before. I might say, in my opinion, it's a first. And if you look at the financing of the government deficit, yes, governments are allowed to borrow from central banks. But if you look at only the first half of 2014 from Doctor's article, and you see that they printed about 4 billion Ghana cedis at that time, that fuels inflation also that we see in the country. So you see that, yes, information is out, but not the fine details and specifics as we've had in this article. And the first part of the article is very interesting. So I think everyone should get it on My Joy Online Business and then read it.
Very, very interesting. Thank you very much for that update, my colleague Philip Namfuri.